Okay, so today we're looking at math lesson 16.3, recognize and generate equivalent fractions. Our I can statement says I can represent a fraction with equal parts that are smaller, which is what we did on Monday, or in 16.1, are larger than the equal parts of the equivalent fractions. And yesterday we did larger parts. Megan wants to save some of the lasagna she makes for her cousin Jeremy. She divides the pan of lasagna into fourths and saves 2/4 of the pan for Jeremy. Can you think of 2 other ways Megan can divide the lasagna into equal size smaller or larger parts and still have the same amount for Jeremy? So here they show it divided into the fourths like Megan did. And she shaded 2/4 because that's how much she was going to shade. Now, when I look at that, I recognize that 2/4 is half of the pan. So if I wanted to make a larger one, I would divide my pan in half, and I would shade 1/2 of it. So this one is 1/2. Now, if I wanted to go smaller, I could divide my pan into the fourths, and then I could cut it in half so I had 8. And I would still need to shade 2 whole long vertical sections, and that would be 4/8. Maybe I'll take away my dark shading and make it a lighter color so you can see that. The sizes. Okay, so 2/4, 1/2, and 4/8 are all equivalent to that half of the lasagna. So I know that Jeremy will get the same amount of lasagna because each shaded area of the same size is the same size. Fractions 2/4, 1/2, and 4/8 are all equivalent. Let's build your understanding. Rico's band eats pizza after band practice each week on Friday. The band eats 6/8 of a cheese pizza. The next week, the band eats the same amount of the same size vegetable pizza, cut into 4 equal pieces. So what's the first one? The cheese one. If we look at our fraction, 6/8. Remember, 8 is the number of parts, the denominator. What fraction of the vegetable pizza does the band eat? Show one way to solve. So we know that the cheese pizza is 6/8. Okay, so we need to divide this pizza into 8 pieces. And they're going to eat 6 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the next one we're supposed to put into 4 equal pieces. So let's just divide this pizza into fourths. And let's look at our drawing. Here is our little center line. So we're going to shade everything above the center line. And then we're going to shade this area, which is half of the bottom. So we had 4 pieces and we ate 1, 2, 3 of them. So the question was, how can you draw lines to divide the 2 pizzas? Into how many pieces will you divide each pizza? I'm trying to get ahead of myself there. So I can draw 4 lines to divide the cheese pizza into 8 equal pieces. I can draw 2 lines to divide the vegetable pizza into 4 equal pieces. So you'll see that that's what we did, and you can go ahead and stop the video and do that. How can you shade the pizza to show how much the band ate? So I can shade 6 pieces of the cheese pizza, which is what we did, and 3 pieces of the vegetable pizza. Go ahead and stop your video and get that one down. He says, what fraction can you write for the amount of each pizza that the band eats? Label each pizza to show the fraction of each pizza the band eats. How do these fractions compare? Okay. So How do they compare? They are equal. Okay, so we're going to write the fraction with the greater than or less than sign. So we had 6/8 of a pizza, and we had 3/4 of a pizza, and we know that they're equal. So the band eats 3/4 of the vegetable pizza. Go ahead and stop your video if you need to get that down. We're going to go on to page 431 in the Step It Out. Lee runs 3 half miles. Roxy runs the same distance on a track laid out in fourths of a mile. How far does Roxy run? Complete the number line. So on the top of our number line, we're going to be dealing with fourths. So we have 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, because we get over 1 here, 6/4, and 7/4. We're going to try and make these 4s look like 4s. Okay, and on the bottom, we have 0, and then we have 2/2, which is 1, right? So halfway between 0 and 1 is 1/2. And we're at 1, and we go to 2 here. And halfway between 1 and 2 is 1 and 1/2. Locate and draw a point on the number line to show how far Leah and Roxy ran. Leah ran, whoops, better write that differently, 3/2 miles. Okay, so we're going to put a dot here for Leah. Roxy runs the same distance on the track laid out in fourths. So the fourth is right up here. So 3/2 is equal to 6/4. Draw 2 circles to show equal groups. Find equivalent fractions for the shaded areas. Okay, so on this one they have 4/8. We can also divide this into 2 parts. So we would have 2 on the bottom, and this would be 1 circle, so we'd have 1/2. We could do this one in groupings of 2, so that we had 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and of those 4 parts, 2 are shaded. Okay, go on down and complete your check understanding, and then come back and check. Okay, so sorry, I had a little trouble with my recording. So the top we're going to divide into fourths, and the bottom we're going to divide into halves, and we can see that 3/2 is here, and that matches up with 6/4 from above. So 3/2 miles is equal to 6/4 mile. Draw circles to show equivalent groups. Find equivalent fractions for the shaded area of the shape. Write the fractions. So on this one, it's divided into 8 parts, and 4 are shaded, so 4/8. Then we can group this one into 2 parts. So it takes 2 parts to make our whole, and 1 of those is shaded. And this one, we can divide our shape into 4 parts. We can group it into 4 parts, and 2 of those 4 parts are shaded. Go ahead and work on your check your understanding, and come back to the video when you're done. As you can see, it says circle equal groups to find an equivalent fraction for the shaded area. So it was in 8s, and 2 of the 8s were shaded, and I decided to put 4 groups, and 1 of the groups is shaded. Draw a point on the number line to find an equivalent fraction. Well, they gave us 2/3 right here. So, and they told us this was divided into 6 because they already have 6. So 3/6 of that. Robert eats 1/3 of a granola bar. Ken eats the same amount of his granola bar. Both granola bars are the same size. Ken divides his bar into sixths. What fraction of the granola bar does Ken eat? Show how much Ken and Robert eat. Write an equivalent fraction. Robert divides his into thirds, and he eats 1/3 of it. Ken divides his into sixths. Remember, we like to do our thirds first. And how much of his bar does he have to eat? 2/6. Locate and draw a point on the number line, then write an equivalent fraction. So this is 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, and 5/6. They want us to get clear to 4/3. So this is 7/6, 8/6, 9/6, 10/6, and 12/6. And remember that 3/3 is 1 and 6/3 is 2. So we're going to go to 4/3 and we're going to see that that's equal to 8/6. Shade to show an equivalent fraction on the visual model. Then write an equivalent fraction. So they divided this into 6 and they shaded 3. And they're telling us to divide our other half in half. And we're going to shade the equal side of that. So that is 1/2. You can go ahead and work on the stem. Okay? And I think the homework looks like you should be able to complete that on your own.